are ways to investigate fraud, which we have been doing in Minnesota, which the federal government has been doing under the Biden administration. There is no reason for them to use this level of rhetoric. There is no reason for them to fully stop the funding these programs. The only reason they are doing that is for PR purposes.
Boots on the ground in Minnesota. And through our fraud prevention, we have found that there is likely over $84 million in eligible assistance that was given to the state of Minnesota during the Biden administration, including almost $500,000 in improper assistance to over 500 dead tenants. And so you think about that, over $84 million of hardworking taxpayer money that was shelled out during the Biden administration in improper assistance and serving over 500 dead people with almost $500,000 of assistance. This is a lack of stewardship. It's gross negligence. But I'm grateful at this time that our team on the ground has found these improper payments, and we will hold those accountable that are responsible for this. And, you know, every stone that's being unturned shows us really the negligence and turning a blind eye and the lack of financial controls and really the lack of caring about the American people and taxpayer money that goes to fund these programs in Minnesota and other places around the country. And so I know under President Trump, Attorney General Bondi, the Vice President, who now has announced a new Associate Attorney General, to go after fraud, waste, and abuse in our country. I'm so glad that we have this opportunity to be transparent before the American people and root out this fraud and bring those to justice who have really criminalized the programs that were meant to help American people in need. It is really just gross negligence and bad stewardship during the Biden administration. $5 billion in potential improper payments is really a disgrace and embarrassment for this agency, but we have been very intentional to be focused on the mission that we have here at HUD, and one of those is to be a good steward over taxpayer dollars. And so we have boots on the ground in Minnesota right now. We have people at HUD that are finding waste, fraud, and abuse. We have great partners in our CFO's office, so I'm grateful that this was found out, but we will hold those accountable that had defrauded the American people.
Yeah, very concerning, obviously, where everyone's tax money, taxpayers' money is going, how that's being spent, obviously being sent to non-citizens and dead people. That's not good. And you're on top of it. We do appreciate that. I also wanted to talk to you about what you just mentioned, Minnesota, the alleged fraud that's happening in that state. Can you talk to us about HUD's efforts in investigating the welfare fraud scandal in that state? What can you tell us so far?
The state of Minnesota, between Minneapolis and St. Paul, they receive about $150 million in HUD funds for housing. And so we have people there to make sure that hard-working taxpayer dollars are being spent in the appropriate manner. I know that with the DOJ, the president under his leadership, and really across agencies, we're going to hold people accountable who have defrauded the American people. People in this country work hard for the money that they earn on a daily basis to support their families. And one of the things we're doing here at HUD is taking inventory of these programs. And so the money that comes into HUD from taxpayers that goes out to people for rental assistance, Section 8 vouchers, and the like, we will make sure that it's being utilized appropriately.
You know, when the light was shed on the state of Minnesota and the fraud allegations could be totaling up to $9 billion, at least at this point, we've seen Governor Tim Walz step down, and we've seen a lot of pushback from other local authorities in that area, or those that maybe run these alleged daycare centers or learning centers, if you will. Then I've spoken to folks that are outside of it. You see the video here by independent journalist Nick Shirley getting the light on this story. I've heard from lawmakers in Maine and California and other states that fraud similar to the one found in Minnesota is happening in their states as well. Have you had an influx, sir, serving in your role, making you aware of fraud happening in other states that are similar to what happened in Minnesota?
And I'm not surprised to hear about this. During the Biden administration, what we found out here in particular at HUD is that this type of waste, fraud, and abuse was incentivized because there were no proper financial controls put in place. We are working very hard day by day to make sure that our verification system of all HUD funds going out is proper, that it's appropriate, that it's clear, that there's transparency. And so, no, sir, I'm not surprised to hear this, because during that administration, the Biden administration, there was no stewardship of taxpayer money. But now under President Trump, under myself at HUD and other agency leaders, we will make sure that there's transparency going forward, there's accountability going forward of hardworking taxpayer dollars, whatever program it may be.
Let's talk about rent, if we can. It's high. We know this. Secretary Turner, your department recently put out a report linking high housing costs to the Biden administration's immigration policy. It's interesting. The report found this, that in states like California and in New York, the influx of illegal immigration accounted for 100% of all rental price growth and more than 1/2 of all growth in owner-occupied housing in recent years. For many Americans, it is difficult to buy a home, at least right now. How is HUD assisting in this situation for home ownership to become a reality, or an actual reality for Americans to finally achieve, to buy that home that they've always wanted to do? How is HUD focusing on that?
Thank you for putting up that report. You know, the story is in the data. Over 12 million illegal aliens coming across our border has literally strained our housing supply, caused affordability to go up. 100% of rental demand in California and in New York is because of illegal immigration, over 60% of that across our nation. And so what we have done here at HUD is to ensure that no taxpayer funds go to illegal aliens when it comes to our FHA mortgage program. We signed a memorandum of understanding, a data sharing agreement with Department of Homeland Security to make sure that everyone that lives in HUD-funded housing is indeed an American citizen. We have put out a mandate to all public housing authorities to give us a comprehensive account of everyone living in HUD-funded housing, Section 8 rental assistance housing, to make sure that they are legal citizens of America. So we're taking the appropriate steps. We are not afraid to hold people accountable, because, again, it's about stewardship, transparency, and accountability.
The more we uncover, the more it becomes clear. It's much worse than we were led to believe by state government officials. We had previously learned that illegal immigrants were still getting care within allegedly state-only Medicaid programs that were actually using federal taxpayer funds. And because of that, we already withheld $1.3 billion from California, Illinois, and yes, Minnesota, which always seems to show up on the list of states with the worst fraud, waste, and abuse. But this is only the tip of the iceberg for Minnesota. We have an unfortunate announcement for the Walz administration. They have to admit they were warned. Last month, we instructed the Walz administration to produce a corrective action plan by the end of the year, which we received late New Year's Eve and found deeply insufficient. We don't want to hear, for example, that your state law doesn't allow you to protect federal taxpayers from Somali fraud. And we want a sense of urgency to fix this, as well as clear milestones to hold Minnesota accountable on progress. Enough is enough. I just notified Governor Walz we will begin auditing Medicaid receipts and defer paying on claims based on fraud, waste, and abuse. Until we can verify what is legitimate, we're going to defer payments for the 14 programs that the state itself identified as rife with fraud. That figure could be in the hundreds of millions of dollars. If the state cannot get a handle on this fraud, as we find more, we intend to withhold more payments moving forward until the state cleans up its act. This ensures that Minnesotans who are truly in need and eligible for benefits can access Medicaid services, but the state's going to be forced to clean up its act and stop wasting taxpayer dollars. The state mismanaged its program, and federal taxpayers should not be held liable. We should note that Governor Walz has a rainy day fund with plenty of money to cover any real shortfalls in the unlikely event these actions affect beneficiaries directly. This, my friends, is about holding Governor Walz accountable and making him take the steps he should have taken years ago. This is just the beginning. While there are 14 Medicaid programs that we know are high risk, we suspect from our team on the ground that there's a long road ahead to clean up the fraud. We want the people of Minnesota to know that this hardship was caused by a complete abdication of duties by the Walz administration, which your state leaders need to own and address immediately. Our duty is to provide the highest quality health care for the most vulnerable Americans, so we can't allow further theft of federal taxpayer money from 49 states to underwrite fraud in Minnesota.
That's all for today. Thank you. If you want global news to keep you up to date on any new developments, please subscribe our channel and forward our content with your friends on social media and email. Thank you very much for keep supporting me. Stay safe. Be blessed. Namaste.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.